Good morning. Starting just a couple minutes early here. Welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone. How's it going? David, it says that you're saying Womply is still instructing me to use line 31 for profit on your PPP, not line 7. So the reason that happened is you need to completely restart the application, like with a new email address if possible. For whatever reason, you're like trying to finish an existing application. If you completely restart, it's impossible to see that line 31 calculation. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, John, New Abyss, Luis. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Edward. So I was just taking a look at Rocket Mortgage here. Pretty wild. I guess potentially another short squeeze scenario. A little bit of selling though right before open. I guess selling a little while ago, but now getting a little bit more green. So this is going to be a weird one today, I'm sure. It could be all over the place. Good morning, everyone. Top of the morning, grab your coffees. Don't think I'm going to be playing any music today. Still dealing with some problems from that last stream with music. Good morning, good morning. Do I think UWMC short-term play for the day? Let's check that out real quick. It's so hard to tell with a short-term play, but let's see here. UWM Holdings. Not sure what they, oh, United Wholesale Mortgage. Oh, okay. That's it. Okay, that's an interesting play. That is definitely interesting. It was up 30% pre-market. Yeah, this thing might pop off. It definitely might pop off. You know what? I might just throw like $100 in this just to mess around and see what happens. Yeah, that's interesting. You know what? Let me pin this here in our watch list. Wait, why is it not showing? UWMC. Oh, there we go. Put that on the watch list. I think what we can expect to happen with this one is kind of like an AMC GameStop thing, where if Rocket is taking off like a rocket, I mean, that's coincidental enough, huh? If that one takes off, I'm sure this one will also take off. If this one tanks, this one probably will tank as well, even though they're, this rocket is negative right now. What is the, what time is it, just real quick? Oh, we still got 5 minutes till open. I started a little bit early. Let's see what the short interest is on a UWM Holdings. So short percentage of float, 13%. That's definitely going to be a hard squeeze. Not sure if that's totally possible with only 13%, but that's pretty much the same as good old Rocket. Rocket is 14.83%, so it's really not. Oh, this is the wrong Rocket. So short interest. Okay, so that makes more sense. Rocket's 39%. So that one is obviously more squeezable, much higher short percent, short interest, short percent of float, whatever you want to call it. How reliable is this? We still don't know exactly, but I mean, this is actually just like a GameStop AMC situation. So that's it's definitely something to keep an eye on here. See what happens here right at open. We were as high as $12.50, and then it leveled off a little bit. Oh, that's nice that I have the countdown now that I switched this feature on. I never knew that. KMPH is up 70%. Let's check that out. That is nutty. That is absolutely nutty. Okay, let's see. Were they down yesterday? Yeah, it looks like they were down a little bit yesterday and then up 70%. Wow. What time is it? So we got a minute 40. We'll check into that a little bit later. Minute 40 to open. I mean, that's going to be, we're going to see a real chaotic opening here with so many of these stocks. We might see a situation where AMC and GameStop are more boring today compared to some of these other ones. Wow. I think there's going to be a couple big winners today. If I get the stimulus, I'm buying another profitable shirt. Let's go. Okay, we are a minute to open. Really curious to see what happens here with AMC. Now we're actually up in the pre-market here with AMC. Volume is still small. We're going to see probably some crazy volume here right on open, if I were to guess. We're going to see all these things trade all over the place. Bitcoin's back over $50,000. Thank you to everyone who's liking the stream. Let's get this thing to pop off. I'll talk more about Palantir later as well if anyone has any questions, and we'll cover my analysis a little bit on it. I also have my video breaking down all things Palantir linked in the description, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, I do. Palantir, PLTR. Three, two, one. Ding, 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 ding. All right, we'll see. We shall see. Let me put this on the 1 minute just for now. All right, we're seeing some buying. We are seeing some buying. Look at that. Popping off, popping off. TLRY might finally be seeing a little turnaround. That's nice to see. Crap, I guess I should have bought my Palantir before now. Look at that. 2.7 million in volume so far. Minute's not even over with yet. And then going over to GameStop. Much more of a battle here on the GameStop price. A fight to get that higher. Okay, so that first candle opened down for GameStop, but for AMC, big old jump up. 3,081,000 in volume in the first minute. Wow. That is absolutely nutty. All right, let's check out these other UWM holdings. We're seeing some selling here. So it's probably good if you didn't buy right away. Maybe let the dust settle just a tad. This Ken Pharmaceutical is down a little bit from what they opened. Not a huge surprise. When, what comes up quickly is bound to correct. We need to think of like a better way to phrase that. There's a saying in there somewhere. I'll have to sit. Whoa. How did that happen? Didn't mean to do that. Okay, now we're seeing some buy-in here with the Ken Pharmaceuticals. There's a fight in the UWM holdings. Oh, looks like the buyers might be winning. TLRY up 4% almost. Okay. Bitcoin jumping up as well. It's funny how Bitcoin will jump up on market open. Doesn't even matter. Yeah, Bitcoin just broke 51,000 in the last 2 minutes. Man, I would like to see a correction here so I can buy some, but I guess it could just keep on going up. Palantir jumping up. GameStop. Okay, so GameStop kind of leveled off. They're almost up 5% for the day. And AMC holding strong too. I really wonder if we can get past that $9.40 mark. We've really been battling that one piece of resistance. I mean, there's some resistance around like $9.09 that we've been seeing, but like the peak resistance, let's zoom it out a little bit. We can see it's like this 940, high 930s, 945. It's just like we're really fighting to get past that point every single day, basically. I think once it gets, 945, 950, we're going to just see it jump up even more. Oh, wow, look at this. Okay. GameStop holding strong. Okay, Palantir corrected a little bit. That's good. I hope Palantir just goes down even lower so I can buy it at even more of a discount. Okay, there we go. There we go, Palantir. I might have to buy some of this right now. We'll give it a minute. I would love to see Palantir like under 20 bucks. It's one of those situations where I want to buy in. I haven't bought in yet. I made a transfer into my brokerage account to make a purchase of this. I want to buy in, but it's like I wish it was a little bit lower. If I buy now and then it goes lower, I'm not going to be happy. But then I'll feel obligated to buy even more if it goes down. Oh, rocket suspended. Thank you for letting me know. Wow. Okay. Well, I hope everyone let the dust settle here a little bit before they jumped into rocket. So it gets suspended in case you're not aware. Stock gets suspended when it drops more than 10% in 5 minutes, and then they get a 5-minute suspension. Or if it increases more than 10% in 5 minutes. Finally getting notifications again. Thank Lord Jeebus. If you haven't yet checked out my Palantir video I posted yesterday, I hate to hype up my own videos, but I highly recommend checking that out. I spent nearly all day recording that thing, and those kinds of videos don't really get that much traction because they're very technical, but super useful. Check that out. Even if you've already checked it out, just let it play through again all the way to show YouTube that it's a good video. How long are they usually suspended? It's just for 5 minutes. And I think there's some additional rules for OTC stocks, but they have to drop more, I think. Market breaker. Let's see. Circuit breaker. So, well, this isn't exactly what I was searching for, but the circuit breakers for the entire stock market are a little bit different, just for a little piece of information. Circuit breakers halt the nation's stock markets during dramatic drops. They're set at 7%, 13%, and 20% of the closing price of the previous day. So each time you see a drop of 7%, 13%, 20%, there's a circuit breaker that will halt trading for 15 minutes in the entire market. But I wanted to find what the OTC stock, because I think there's a slightly different circuit breaker. Let's see. I know I've seen it before. Okay, this is probably what I'm looking for. How trading halt. Yeah, I'm not finding it for OTC stocks. If anyone knows the rules for the circuit breakers for OTC stocks, let me know. I want to say it's something like if it's under like $1, it has to decrease by like 40% or something like that. Good morning, good morning. All right, so AMC pretty flat now. We saw almost got the head and shoulders. Maybe we should call it the middle finger. GameStop. They're trying to figure themselves out. They're still discovering themselves right now. Oh, okay. Palantir's back in the 24s. Okay, I think I'm just going to buy a little bit of Palantir. Let's buy a little bit of Palantir right now. My plan is just to kind of like maybe even, I guess you could call it like daily cost average or something, just in case Palantir goes down a little bit more, but I'm going to start increasing my position there, because I think it's a good, real long-term hold. Oh, here we go. Now it's going down even further. I'm just hoping that this, it'd be real nice if this just tanked before I bought, that is. All right. Let's, oh, maybe it'll even, maybe I'll wait and see if it breaks even, because if it if it runs flat for the day, we might see it even go negative. And I wouldn't mind a bargain. I would not mind a bargain at all. So I'm just going to hold off there for a second. What's the volume looking like? Oh, that's like nothing. 240,000, 290,000, 400,000, 420,000. 3.6 million on that first minute. Ooh, rocket companies. Jeez. Now let's see. Oh man. Like technical chart wise, I don't know if that's a good time to hop in right now until we establish some kind of resistance point. I think we might see that run down a bit more. Yep. I guess right as I'm saying it. Oh man. Oh, TLRY is now in the negative, of course. Kind of the same deal with TLRY. We're kind of below the resistance point here, so I'm not sure if that's a good time to hop in. Might be able to say the same thing for Palantir. Okay, so Palantir is almost same deal. All right, so we're just going to hold off for a minute, because I think that might at least see what it establishes. Oh, we're turning this right into a middle finger. Big fat middle finger. RKT about to get yeeted into the pit of misery. Yeah, it might be. Oof. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. The UWM holdings still holding strong, 11% positive, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who hopped in the first few minutes and just saw it decrease from that 30% up to 11% up. Please tell me you're staying away from RKT. I'm not in there right now, so thankfully. I've learned my lesson, I think, to not hop in right away. Wait for the day to kind of establish something. I'm glad I didn't hop into Palantir earlier because I was just talking about it and then went down 2%, and I'd be a little salty if it went down 2% right after that. Someone's asking, where can I find New Abyss's music? New Abyss, you're probably in this chat. Let him know exactly where he can find everything. I know he has a YouTube channel with some songs on it, and I think SoundCloud as well. Come on, Palantir, keep on going down. Let's get some discounts here. Oh, John, you're in RKT? Jeez. Well, you know what? You might be able to buy this thing at a bargain if it levels off, and then, you know, no matter what, we're going to see a crazy day here. So, I mean, we'll see. Oof. Who knows what's going to happen here? AMC 640 shares at $8 average at the moment, attempting to buy some more. Good entry points. Well, taking a look at it right now, things seem a bit chaotic right now to hop in my opinion. We're getting right on line with these resistance points. You know, we got a few right around here. I would say we're probably not going to see it go. You know, we're down kind of bad right now. I don't think we're going to see it go much below, you know, 882, 884. If we do see it go below those, I think we're going to see it go far below those. And then the next potential resistance points, they're pretty much all in the 880s. So I think, and we're right there. So right now is kind of the test. Where are we at here? Right now is the test to see if this holds strong or not. See, we can see we touched 877, but then it popped right back up. Didn't even close that minute on 877. I don't think. I think we'll probably see some resistance here established again, and it probably won't go much lower. So it could potentially be a good time to hop in if we see a couple more candles here right in line. I don't think we're going to see it drop much lower, but of course with AMC and GameStop, it is so chaotic. You know, it doesn't follow those typical like technical rules, if you even want to call them rules, because you know they're definitely not perfect. That's for sure. Let's just throw a little Fibonacci on here and see. Okay. Oh, I kind of drew that wrong. Let me redraw it. Delete. All right, so from its peaks, I mean, we're only looking at the last 20 minutes or so here, but yeah, I don't see it going much below low 880s, high 870s. And if it does, hold on to your seats, because I think it's gonna pop much lower. Thank you, Jules. I appreciate that. So we're down now 1% on AMC. GameStop holding strong 2.5%. Palantir is pretty flat now with open, Okay, so let's see if we can establish some resistance here, or, I sure would love to just see this thing tank down to like 15 bucks right before I buy some. If this thing dropped down to like 15 bucks, I would buy so much of it. So you can either look at a situation like this, like it's scary, it could go down further, or you could look at it like, all right, let's get buying. Everything's kind of seeing this sharp drop off right at open. Rocket Company's now down 15%, but it's climbing back up. Okay, so hopefully, John, you held on, and you can see this is getting pretty bullish now. And this Ken Pharmaceuticals back up at 70% up. So I think it kind of tested. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling kind of good about this Ken Pharma, or is it Ken or? It's Chem Pharmaceutical. Feeling kind of good about this one having a, it's already up 70%, but I feel like we could see this one run up quite a bit more. I think it kind of tested that little drop and it was like, nah, and now it's climbing right back up. But of course, we're only, 7 minutes into the open. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. All right, just looking at your comments, see if there's any good questions here. So if you're looking for my Palantir video, it's in the description of this live stream. I see a few people looking for it. It's my last posted video also, but it's in the description. Someone asking, have I checked out KMPH? I mean, we got it up right here. Do I trust Palantir? It's a good question. They have some definite, there's definitely some concerns to be had just with data, but it's kind of like a Facebook. Like they have all that data and it's almost like they're going to do it whether you like them as a company or not. So it's kind of like, do you want to be a part of that or not? Because they're just getting more and more and more data. It's so hard to tell how ethical they are with these things, because even their user agreements, that was one of the complaints against them. Their user agreements are so opaque that like even their customers don't know exactly what's going on. So we just don't know totally, what they're doing with this data. But we know that whatever they're doing with it, their customers are loving it, because one thing that I really liked about Palantir is their revenue per customer has increased dramatically. I can't remember the exact figure right now because I'm a bit tired, but I want to say it was like up 20% or so since last year, which that is a screamingly good sign, if that's even a word, screamingly. That's a great sign, because that means that their customers are finding their services valuable, and they're like, okay, well, we're spending $1 million a year and we're saving $3 million. If we really double down on this and bump that up to $1.5 million in spending, we could save $4 million, whatever that cost equation might be. And also something that I really like about them is the way that their systems are built. They're so smart. Like, so what Palantir does in itself is kind of confusing. Like all you see is big data decision making, but it's like, okay, what exactly does that mean? And I found a good example of what they would do for like a manufacturer. And they have this product called Foundry, which we're seeing this thing ramp up. Okay, we're up to 76%. They have this product called Foundry that they're doing an example for a manufacturer, and they have the data points of everything, whether that be like logs from employees and managers, supplies and the expiration dates of those supplies, individual logs from machinery. Everything you could possibly have data points on, they have in this system to build basically like a data rendering of this business. Now, what can you do with that? The example that they showed was their system identified some inventory that was set to expire, and then it automatically sent that to a sales manager, said, hey, this is about to expire, and sent that sales manager a list of potential customers that they could sell that to before the expiration date to make sure that inventory doesn't expire. They can make some more money on it. Bada bing, bada boom. So that's just one thing, that their big data can do. But something that's really interesting is the more a company uses their system. So like let's say that inventory expired. It gets sent over to the sales manager. Sales manager's like, oh, this is a great idea. Let me reach out to this customer. The customer buys it or doesn't buy it, whatever that decision might be. Whatever happens there, that decision then goes back into the Foundry system and makes the whole thing smarter. So it's like, it like turns dumb businesses, like just a manufacturer, into kind of like this machine learning AI profitability machine. So the more they use it, the more they're going to want to keep using it, and the more they're going to need to keep using it. So it's like once a customer is with Palantir, it kind of seems like they can't escape the grips, which is good for an investor. Exactly, they become dependent. Thoughts on BYDDF? Let's check that out. And thank you for the super chat, Jules. Let me just check these out here real quick. Okay, so look at that, up to 80%. If any of you heard me about 5 minutes ago and I said, for whatever reason, I'm feeling good about this one today, and you bought in, good timing. Let's check out BYDDF. So it's an OTC stock. It's always a lot of risk there. Chinese manufacturer of automobiles, battery-powered bicycles, buses, forklifts, solar panels, rechargeable batteries, trucks, etc. Let's see. Warren Buffett owns more of this electric car company than General Motors. So that means I own some of this because I have a decent amount of Berkshire stock. Berkshire holds an 8.2% stake in this electric automaker. Look at that. More than it does of General Motors. Shares of BYD are up more than 300% over the last 12 months. Wait, this is BYD. This isn't the same one. What's the difference between BYD? Oh, okay, so the company's BYD. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's always weird when the acronym is slightly different than the ticker symbol. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. They're really taking after that Ford logo. BYD, built tough. 13 years after investing in an obscure Chinese automaker, Warren Buffett's BYD bet is paying off. This dude just don't miss. This weekend brought the release of Berkshire Hathaway's 2020 earnings report. I'm going to have to take a look at that. I didn't even know it was out yet, which gave the investing world yet another opportunity to track the performance of the Oracle of Omaha himself, Warren Buffett. And though the prodigious 90-year-old investors holding company particularly felt the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on its bottom line, the report shed light on how one of Buffett's boldest bets to date is paying huge dividends. 13 years ago, on the advice of his famously skeptical Lieutenant Charlie Munger, Buffett made a $232 million investment in a relatively unknown Chinese car company called BYD. He was enthralled by the vision of BYD's founder, a chemist turned entrepreneur named Wang Chanafu, who had built one of the world's largest manufacturers of rechargeable cell phone batteries before pivoting into the automotive sector. So this is saying this guy is a combination of Thomas Edison and Jack Welch, something like Edison in solving technical problems and something like Welch in getting done what needs to do. That's quite the compliment. Jack Welch is the famous CEO of GE. By paralyzing BYD's parlaying, not paralyzing, sorry. By parlaying, oh, good old Buffett looks so young there. By parlaying BYD's rechargeable battery technology into fast-growing car-making operation, Wang had gained a foothold in the fledgling electric vehicle market. Okay. So that 232 billion has turned into 1.6 billion. That's good for my shares. You know, that's why I buy Berkshire. It's kind of like buying an index fund at this point. Let's just check out their financials. Yeah, someone says 13-year diamond hands. Buffett has the diamond hands of them all. Also, you have to applaud his ability to not spend. He's sitting on so much cash right now. It's absolutely mind-boggling. So they have a market cap of $88 billion. Revenue per employee is very low. 5-year trend looks, we don't have the 2020 yet. So it looks like the sales have slowed down a little bit in recent past. They do have earnings though. So that's, and pretty good earnings too. They've gone down slightly in the recent past, so we would want to figure out what exactly is going on there. We also have to remember that Buffett bought in long ago, so these financials aren't obviously going to be the same decision as he would have now. So I'd be curious to see what their most profitable sectors are, because they do lots of things. Gross margin 14.7%. That's not too bad. It's definitely an interesting one. Popping back over here. AMC. Oh, Palantir is now negative a little bit. Okay, it looks like AMC found that kind of resistance point. So if you are looking for a potential place to pop in, right now might not be horrible. We can see there's a lot of touch points here right around this price. It'll take quite a bit of selling to get much lower than that 880 mark. Just in my opinion, of course, that's not financial advice. GameStop. I mean, I guess we should say it's anyone's guess also, because these stocks are so wild. Palantir's now a little bit in the negative. Still haven't really established much of resistance here, but I might just buy some. Down almost 0.5%. Someone's saying Womply is not doing the gross calculation yet as of last night for the PPP. So if that happens to you, that means you haven't completely restarted their application. I asked the CEO of Womply about this, and he said if it's a completely new application, it's literally impossible to still have the net income calculations because the whole thing was rebuilt. So that means you need to completely restart with a new email address if possible, and you will have the gross income calculations. Now we're seeing a little bit of buying. Do we have any Palantir holders here in the chat? I'd be curious to see who is holding. TLRY's down 0.5%. You know, I'm just used to TLRY. TLRY's a heartbreaker. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it at this point. Okay. Cool. 1,000 shares. Nice. Nice. Okay, since we're down right now, I'm going to buy some. I'm glad I didn't earlier. I'm glad I held off a little bit. I'm buying some Palantir. So, 25 bucks. All right, I think, yeah, I'm going to buy 50 shares of Palantir. Oh, it's, maybe I'll wait a second. I know I keep saying that. Not that it really matters because I plan on holding for a long time. Let me just zoom out here real quick. What's the lowest that we've seen in the last few days? 24, 27. Okay, so probably not going to go much lower than that, which isn't much down from where we're at right now. Yeah, I'm just going to order 50 shares. Yeah. Done and done. 50 shares of Palantir. Bada bing. I wish I could show like this screen. Sweet. That is a long-term play though. So if you happen to buy in, do not get mad at me if it goes down in the short term, because it very well might. Cool. I pretty much just became a big fan of Palantir yesterday when I was researching it, and by the time I was done researching, market was closed, so I couldn't even buy any. So that was actually the first that I've bought Palantir. TLRY. Okay, RKT. Oof. Now I have 2 shares of Palantir. That's right, Phantom Savage. I still have a little bit of this Kraken Robotics. It's down like 4% or something since I bought it. The Chem Pharmaceuticals, that's actually looking pretty good. Lose my voice a little bit. I think we're going to, no, now we're seeing some selling. I think we're going to see this run up even higher. Uh-oh. Kind of a red day right now. Now that I bought Palantir, that probably means it's just going to tank. But that's okay. I'll just buy more if it tanks. AMC just still bouncing on the same price. Now let's see here. It would be a classic if right after I bought Palantir it went down like another percent. That'd be an absolute classic for these live streams. Rocket companies, come on. It wants to go up. Wants to, but can it? Do I have any thoughts on CRISPR? It seems so. I haven't done a deep dive on it, so I hesitate to say really much about companies unless I've actually like really dove into the company, because otherwise, I mean, you know, it's closer to a flip of a coin. But I know a lot of people are excited about it, so it could potentially be a good long-term buy. But let's pull it up here. See if it's overvalued, or so we have a market cap, 9.38 billion. Seems high, because I'd be willing to bet their sales aren't super justified for that. I guess they don't really have much for sales at all. So in terms of like a wild bet, this is much more of a wild bet than something like Palantir, because they just don't have all these established sales yet like a Palantir does. Now Palantir's price to sales, not the greatest. It's still about 40, and ideally for a quickly growing company in that sector, maybe you'd want the price to sales to be 20, which would put the price, let's see, let me bust out a calculator. So while I'm doing this, let me pull it back here. So Palantir has sales of 1.09 billion. I'm so well versed in this. A lot of these figures are ingrained in my brain at this point. 1.09 billion. If there was a price to sales of 20, that would be a market cap of 21.8 billion. They have 1.75 billion shares. So that would be a share price of $12.45, which I don't think that we're going to hit that, but that would be a price where it'd be like, this thing is a spanking deal. Now that I have some shares of this thing, I might shed a tier or two if it went down to $12.40, but I sure would be glad that it did that before I really dive in, because I have yet to really dive in. Oh, Andrew Mo Money just advertised my Palantir video to his viewers. Appreciate that, Andrew. He's the man. Go and check out Andrew Mo's channel if you haven't already. Someone asking, how can I pitch a stock with what I feel to be a serious upside? Well, if you want to email me some kind of summary, if it's well thought out and well written, I'd be happy to take a look at it here on one of these streams. Explain your reasoning. Oh no, Southwest is going down. I got a pretty decent sized position in Southwest. I don't even think I have it pinned here. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, it's LUV. It's up for the day. What you talking about? Southwest actually might be a little bit on the high side right now, to be honest. Given that sales aren't like totally back yet. We haven't seen prices this high since 2018, like October of 2018. Let me tell you, sales are not back to those levels. They're looking pretty good. My Southwest journey kind of was rough. I had some major diamond hands here with Southwest. So I bought in January of last year, before the pandemic. So I bought in, I don't remember the exact day, but probably mid-January. So probably after this dip at around 54 bucks. Saw it swing up to 58, feeling pretty good about myself. And then this. Saw it literally cut in half, my fairly large position. And I believe in around April, I doubled that position. Let me see what my cost average is, just so I can make sure my numbers are correct here. Yeah, so my average share price for Southwest is 39 bucks. So I bought a bunch at 54, and then I must have bought some at around like 30. Let me, oh, it'll probably tell me. Yeah. I think I might have some more in another account. Yeah, I do. I have it in multiple accounts. Yeah. So I'm averaged out at about 30. What did I say? I'm losing my mind here. $39 average, $39.80. So I'm up 45% right now. I think this is probably higher than it should be. You know, we probably should be around 50 bucks. That's just my opinion. Oh, Palantir went down a little bit more. And you know what? To celebrate that, I'm going to buy some more. To celebrate, Palantir down almost 2%. Oh, it hit 22 bucks at one point. So we're at low 24. This is actually the lowest it's been in the last few days. I'm going to buy some. New order. Did my last one execute? Yeah, okay, cool. I'm buying more. Go down, Palantir, I dare you. Oh, it's in the 23s now. All right. I'm buying another 50 shares. Oh, come on, keep on going down. Dare you. I absolutely dare you. All right, another 50 shares of Palantir in my pocket. Boom, done. I'll buy more. Keep on going down. Test me. Do. Sweet. I now have 100 shares of Palantir. Can we talk about what's going on with AMC? We sure can. Oh, we got the quarter pipe on the long view, that is. Oh, we broke through that resistance or support, maybe I should say. Yeah, AMC's kind of taking a beating right now. Any update on a member giveaway? I still want to do something. I just haven't decided yet what exactly I want to do for the member giveaway. But rest assured, I haven't forgotten. Oof. Steps down. Oh my. That is not bueno. Let's zoom this out a little. Oh, geez. This might get halted. It would have to go down about 80 cents. Oh my Lord. 2.3 million in volume too. It's heavy. These are all heavy amounts of volume on the cells. Oh, there was 6 million right there. Holy smokes. So GameStop looks like it might be in a similar boat here. Not quite as dramatic. Still only down 4%. It looks really bad. 4% I guess isn't the end of the world. Palantir down a little bit more yet. Do I buy more? Possibly. Possibly. I'm tempted to buy some more. Maybe I'll set a market order. Come on, keep on going down. Come on, let's see it. Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure if we're going to have another good buying opportunity. I'm just going to buy another 50 shares. Palantir Technologies, 50 more shares coming in hot. Oh, I suppose I need to hit buy. All right, I now own 150 shares of Palantir. Proud owner. Pretty harsh sell-off there. I guess the next, I mean, we haven't seen 22 bucks. I might even have to zoom out a bit more. Let's go to 1 hour. So the last low we've seen is $22 beginning of January. And then before that, we saw it real briefly in December and November. Other than that, it's been a run up. As much as I would love to see this thing get in the teens to really buy, I just am not sure that it's going to happen. But to get down to 22 bucks, I mean, we're looking at a 10% decrease. Do I have an explanation as to why AMC is tanking instead of squeezing? I think people are scared. I mean, you can say there's potential for short attacks and things like that, but it's so hard to say, you know, what the reasoning is. But I think it's these AMC, GameStop are on such like a sensitive ground where if it's up, people are like, maybe I'll buy in, but we've been burned before. If it's down, people are like, oh, it's tanking again. Because, you know, everyone remembers, you know, 2 weeks ago it was at $5.50 for AMC. And if it seems like it's trending back down to that price, there's going to be a lot of people trying to hop out. Saying it looks like APHA is low too. Low as in like a value buy. I'm not sure about that, but maybe low relative to some other flour companies. Because we can see relative to where they've been at before, we're still at like fairly record highs. Dang, look at that. TLRY. TLRY, I'm getting kind of sick of you. I know it's a long-term play, so I shouldn't even be looking at TLRY every day. How's Tyson doing? Tyson's been doing pretty good. I think it's still a value play, but we've saw a run up recently. Let's see here. Let's go zoom in a little bit. Their chart is chaotic. Let's put on the 1 hour. All right, that's a little bit easier. So I've really been talking about it since it was at about 64, 65 bucks, and it's gone up about 7% since then, which is right on track. Honestly, pretty much best case scenario for this company. It's still a great value play in my opinion, but this is a long-term hold. We've just seen a lot of green days here, just slowly creeping up, which is exactly what you want it to do. And I have $11,000 in Tyson, so a decent amount. Of course, do your own diligence. If you're interested at all in Tyson as like a value play, also linked in the description here, I have my breakdown of Tyson Foods. That's another one of those controversial companies, though. What's up with me and buying into these controversial companies recently? Palantir, Tyson Foods. It's not by purpose. Maybe just because that's where the deals are at right now. Let's see. Bitcoin hit 52,000 last night. I really wonder what Bitcoin's going to do. When should you buy into Tyson? I feel like now is the time. We might see a small correction, but you're not going to see this thing, in my opinion, go much below 66 bucks. You know, we've been floating there. It's been trading relatively flat after its pandemic dip. You know, we saw this dip from the pandemic. The weird thing here, you know, it's just kind of up and down, and now it seems to finally be trending out. The weird thing is their sales weren't that affected. Their biggest effect during the pandemic was they had to spend some extra money in their plants to keep the workers safe and from getting sick. Other than that, their sale, and people are still eating. Their sales are fine. Their margins are fine. So I think for a realistic price target, I think we could see this thing at $100 in 2 to 3 years. So it's a long-term play. And I don't plan on selling it, but if it hit like 150 within 2 years, I'd probably sell, because that probably mean it's overvalued and worth cashing out. But it's a solid company. I might just turn Palantir into like my biggest gamble stock. Math Beanie in the chat is saying, I feel a tight knot in my throat watching the account sink red. I know that feeling. The key is to just pretend like it's not your money. Also, the key is to invest money that you are okay with getting a little haircut on. Like my TLRY stock, that went down 45%, but then I doubled the position. Max, AMC is your biggest gambling stock? I'm not sure if that's a question or, but yeah. But even with AMC, I don't have a huge position relative to my portfolio. And, I've lost, I guess right now the loss isn't that bad. But my loss is under $1,000 right now, so it's really not that bad. But I also have TLRY. That was kind of a gamble too. Both of those I pretty much just bought, not because of any like fundamental reason. I have one share of GameStop too, so I guess you can consider that. It's some form of position, I guess. Let's check out RKT. I suppose we need to zoom in a bit. So I don't know, we might see rocket companies, they have a bit to go to break even, but we might see a run up from here. The UWM Holdings is still holding strong at just over 10%. Kind of getting that level of support at right around $10 flat. So we could potentially see a run up here with UWM. Good morning. Palantir still tanking? Good. I'll buy more. I'll do it. I will buy more. Yeah, this is Webull, what we're currently using here. That's what I have pinned up in the comments if you want to make an account and get some free stocks. Also in the description, if you're in crypto at all, I have a link where you can get up to $250 in free crypto, but you'll get at least $15 in free Bitcoin. So it's not a bad deal if you're into that, if you're into free money. All right, my trades are all settled for Palantir. Let's see what my average price is. Average price of $24.12. $3,600. And still waiting on a big transfer into my brokerage account so I can do some more buying. All right, what do we got going on here? Volume's pretty low now with Palantir. It's kind of settling down a little bit. Oh, AMC looks like they're having a little bit of a run up now. We're still only 2% down, so okay, we're seeing some buy-in. If we see another green candle, this is a very good sign. The ascending level of support, if you will. Thoughts on the upcoming earnings report for AMC? To be honest, I think it's not going to matter at all. No one has bought in the last month because their earnings are strong. No one's going to be surprised that they have a very negative net income. It's not going to be a surprise to anyone, I don't think. Sure, there might be an effect on the stock price, but honestly, it's anyone's bet. It could go up if they have a bad earnings report. Do I think I'll stream with Trey this week? Probably. It'll probably just be a last minute thing. I hopped on one of his streams yesterday for only like 20 minutes. A candle is one of these fellas. I might just buy more Palantir. So, if you can't tell, I'm just excited about Palantir. Just a little bit excited about Palantir. So you know what I'm going to do, because I like Palantir's creating a George W. Oh, yeah, that's right. Good call. Good call. And they're still down 1.4%. Not too shabby. I might buy more. My price prediction for Palantir in 5 years. So they have a sales goal of $4 billion by 2025, or $4 billion in the year of 2025. And if their price to sales ratio stays where it's at, which honestly, if they hit that goal, it might go up. But let's do some math here. So their price to sales is about 40 right now after their haircut in price. You know, it was 50-ish. So if they hit that $4 billion in sales, which I actually think is doable, they increased sales 45% last year. $4 billion in sales, we multiply that by a price to sales of 40. That would give them a market cap of $168 billion. Divide that by 1.75 billion shares. That'd be a price of $91. But I think if they hit that goal, because this is like a public goal of theirs, $4 billion, or if they pass it before then, probably, I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised if their price to sales ratio was like 60 at that point. Which at that point, this would kind of be an upper bounds price. $4 billion in sales times 60 price to sales, a market cap of $240 billion. So this would, you know, it would be a massive company at this point, market cap wise. Divided by 1.75 billion shares, that'd be a share price of $137, which we divide that by our share price, right? This is an upper bound, of course. Divide that by 24.19. a 5.6 multiple in 5 years, potentially. Upper bounds. Then I don't remember the exact number, 92 or something like that for the other price, divided by 24.19. So we're looking at 380% to, man, I'm losing my mind. What was it? 560% increase in 5 years, I think. Of course, we don't know for sure, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. I have 150 shares of Palantir as of like 15 minutes ago or something like that. Max's Breath, volume 27. Hopefully it's not too annoying. Are people going to get taxed on their PPP loans? No. The tax situation for PPP it's bonkers. It's amazing. So not only are you not getting taxed like as taxable income for your PPP loan, you also can spend that PPP loan on eligible business expenses, and those expenses are deductible. So like, let me do some math here for you, since I'm in a math mood right now. What is the... Okay. So let's say you received a $10,000 PPP loan. It's not considered taxable income. So right away, the average, let's see the average U.S. corporate tax rate. Average U.S. corporate tax rate right now, 21%. So we're just going to use that as our figure. So automatically, we can multiply this by, increase that by 21%. So automatically that $10,000 you received is basically worth $12,000 after taxes. And then on top of this, you can spend that money on eligible expenses and deduct those expenses from your operating profits, your net income. So you're saving another $12,000 on top of that. So it's like adding an additional 21%. So you receive a $10,000 PPP loan. It's actually like receiving just shy of $15,000 or 46% more. It's absolutely nutty. So like for instance, with my businesses, first round received about 52,000. Multiply that by 21%. Then we multiply that by 21%. These figures might not be exact, but you get the picture. So that first round, effective after tax for my business, $76,000, and then you multiply that by 2 because there's 2 rounds of PPP. It's absolutely nuts. Oh, so Palantir's swinging up a little bit. Look at that, having a little run up. Can I give price updates on GME, AMC, RKT every now and again? I sure can, John. Thank you for your super chat. Think I'll ever do a video with Tyler Wilson? I'm actually not familiar with him, I don't think. I'm open to talking to anyone, really. Let's pull him up. Tyler Wilson Investing. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any of his content before, but, I'll chat with anyone. Seems like a genuine dude just from the picture. Looks like a football player or something like that. See, I don't really like that Palantir's increasing in price now. Someone says, Max, if you plan on talking to someone with no clue in the market, I'm your boy. All right, you got it. Palantir $35 by the end of year. I think my prediction was, I don't know if I said that wrong. The chat says Palantir $35 by the end of the year. I think my prediction was $33, so that's kind of right in line there. I kind of hope we see more selling. I'd like to see some red here with Palantir, which might sound ridiculous because I'm a big fan of it, but in the short term, I'd love to see it go down. I do have a collaboration scheduled for tomorrow that I think you guys will like. Guess we'll keep it on the DL until then. Oh, we got another Max in the chat. Welcome. My thoughts on Bitcoin. So I'm a big fan of cryptocurrencies just in general. My problem is I've been waiting for a correction, and I don't know if this correction is ever going to happen. That's really my only problem with it. I really think with a chart like this, it's due for some kind of major correction. I think in the long run, you're going to be fine. Like if you're buying this just to hold it for 10 years, you're going to ultimately be totally fine, no matter if you buy in at $56,000 or you buy in at $26,000 or whatever that might be. But we have to remember, not that long ago, it was crazy when it broke $20,000 again, because I think it just touched 20,000 years ago. Oh no, almost, just shy of 20,000. How's the copyright shenanigans going? Yeah, not so good. I need to just contact YouTube because there's no way I can process 60 copyright claims. So hopefully they can do like a bulk thing or something like that. Can Palantir compete with SAP and Intuit? The thing with Palantir is it seems like they don't have any super direct competitors. Like they have some that do similar things, but it just seems like there's no one who's exactly like them. Enterprise software, because I mean, you could almost even say Oracle. Oh, I guess Oracle's right there. Oracle's another competitor of them, but what they do, you know, it's just not exactly the same. So it's I had a hard time doing market comparisons because there are so few direct competitors. But let's check out. Five-year sales trend looks pretty good. They have net income, which obviously that's great to see. What is their price to sales? $4.6, very low price to sales. So this might be a potential bargain, actually. This could be a potential bargain. That was definitely interesting. The 5-quarter trend looks okay. This might be worth looking more into, for sure. AMC's creeping back up there. I have a 945 balance Which low-key stock should I buy? Man, I don't know what you should buy for just $9. Guess you can buy one share of AMC. Appreciate you, Blues Crew. It's a good username. Let's see what we're at here. Let's see. Would it make sense to invest in Bitcoin or the mining companies if one is bullish? So one of the problems I'm seeing with the mining companies is that they're all so highly valued right now that it's tough. Their multiples are just like through the roof. There's also companies who are just holding Bitcoin. So, you can like buy into a company that is holding Bitcoin. So you're like buying a company that also holds Bitcoin beyond like Tesla, because Tesla is one of those. I would say just buy the cryptocurrency. Alrighty. Are we going to see a turnaround here for AMC? How long am I thinking of holding Palantir? For me, it's at least, I think, like a 5 to 7 year thing. It's going to be a while. Because I think in the short term, this thing can go anywhere. It has the potential to even hit, the teens, 15, which, I'd actually kind of love, because then I could buy at a discount. But in the short run, I'm just going to try to pretend like I don't even own any. In the long run, I think we'll see it jump up quite a bit. Also, just looking at their management team, like Peter Thiel, does he have, let's see. Let's see, I'm seeing if he has any failures worth noting, because this seems like this guy just hits on every single venture he's a part of. Yeah, I'm not seeing any like failed ventures. He talks a lot about failure being overrated. Can I look at Bitfarms? BITF. Yeah, I can. Let's see here. Bitfarms plans massive Bitcoin mining expansion with purchase of 48,000 micro BT devices. Okay, that's pretty cool. So they've seen a big old jump up in price in the last year. No data available. Let's try on Yahoo. Bitfarms, let's see. So is this in the thousands, or is that actually their revenue? All numbers in thousands. Okay, cool. Gross profit. Net income. So they actually have some net income. That's surprising. So, not a big fan of how Yahoo's financials are laid out. Market cap of 600 million. Let's see what their price to sales. Sales of 32 million. They have a price of sales of 18.75, which actually isn't too bad. Yeah, I mean, this one has some potential. It doesn't seem like screamingly overvalued. I'd want to look, much more into their management team and things like that. Looks like there's a buy rating there. Raised $31 million in sale of shares to institutional investors. Not too shabby. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything horrible about this one so far. So I'd say it's worth digging into more. What are my thoughts on NFTs? I actually did a video on this on Sunday. Man, they're interesting. We should never be surprised what people are willing to pay money for. I guess I should say that. I'm sure we'll see some kind of boom in this market. Well, I guess we're in the middle of it right now. We're seeing a boom in the NFT, the non-fungible token market right now. Is that going to last? I'm not sure. Let's pull up. So we can see popularity has exploded. So this isn't stable, this level of popularity. Make that better view. This level of popularity, of course, isn't stable. It could potentially go up even further, but in the long run, it won't be as everywhere as we're seeing it right now. It's just so hard to say what's actually going to be. I mean, it's just like buying art or anything like that. It's hard to say what's going to be more valuable and not. I know that Logan Paul thing is pretty crazy because he was selling those NFTs for $1 Ethereum each, and then they jumped up in price like $40,000 or something like that. How many days straight of working now? So if you're not aware, I'm in the middle of kind of a work marathon. It's been going on since December 28th. So let's see. Days since December 28th. 65 days of at least 10 hours a day. Feeling pretty good though. Can I take a look at NLST? Yeah, sure. They just beat Google in court for infringing on their IPs, and they owe them billions. Well, I can tell you from just that, the fact that news is already broke, it's probably already absorbed in the price. So this thing's price just jumped up. So did that just happen with the... So their price, why did their price just jump up 28% in the last, or today? But let's check out their financials. So, market cap of 293 billion, revenue per employee 326,000. Sales decreasing, so that's always a big concern of mine. But I think a lot of people are probably just buying in because of that lawsuit. Maybe that lawsuit will give them some increased publicity or something like that. Even the 5-quarter sales trend is decreasing. So that's concerning. Net income, negative. So nothing jumps out to me in the financials as being especially great. It's almost anyone's bet, in my opinion, whether this thing goes up, down, sideways, left, right. But a lot of times, you see buy the hype, sell the news, and if that news has already come out that they won the lawsuit, it's probably too late to get much benefit from it. Analysis on SKT. Tanger Factory Outlets. So they're obviously having a rough go at it right now. Market cap 1.62 billion. I'm sure. Jeez, I gotta quit yawning. I'm sure they've taken on additional debt this year, which is always concerning. Let's see if their debt increased recently. Total liabilities, it hasn't increased a whole lot. No, actually didn't increase too much. This could be a potential recovery play. Their sales down 16% from 2019. Sales before that down 2%. Actually not as bad as I would expect, to be honest. Have they recovered from the pandy? Yeah, pretty much. So I'm not sure there's much of a recovery. Okay, so that's a little bit no, they've pretty much recovered. Not sure there's much of a recovery play left here. So now you're just betting that things are going to get better for them than it was pre-pandemic. And when is that going to happen? Is that going to happen in 1 year, 5 years, ever? Are malls ever going to come back to where they were at whatever the peak was? That's very hard to say. You walk through a mall, they're basically dead. But the Tanger malls are maybe a little bit different because it's like those outlet stores. People still go to those. You can't really get those deals online, so it might be a little bit different for them. But a bet on this price increasing is more a bet on just the sentiment of the people, in my opinion, because the price is already back. Guess who's back? Tanger's back. How do I feel about the bonds and yields going up? So let me pull up the 10-year Treasury bond. That's a great question, by the way. I don't think that's what I wanted. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So the 10-year Treasury note is at 1.478% after floating, quite a bit lower than that. Is it at a peak right now? Yeah, pretty much. Just touched 1.5% briefly. So this is going to have an implication on stocks. For the longest time, basically, if you're under the age of 30, you've probably never really spent much ever on bonds. But before that, there was a day and age where you had a choice between buying bonds or buying stocks, and they kind of have an inverse relationship. What we're seeing right now, even though, let's see with all, yeah, so we can see, it's been up as high as 5-6%. So we're seeing right now a market where so many things are very overvalued. Like we take a look at that Buffett indicator, which is basically the P to E of the entire S&P 500, or the entire economy, if you will. I think they actually used the Wilshire 5000. This website is really good, current market valuation. So we can see here that the value of the market relative to how much it's actually producing is literally higher than it's ever been, higher than it was in the tech bubble. This is very concerning. There's a lot of indicators just basically screaming that the market's overvalued. However, typically when the market is overvalued, there's other things to put your money into. The problem we're seeing right now is, what else do you put your money into if you're holding stocks? Real estate, also extremely expensive right now, highly valued. Crypto, that's a possibility. A lot of people just don't understand it though, and it's very volatile. Bonds, what are you going to do? Get a 1.5% return? The average stock in the S&P 500 right now is getting about a 2.2% return. So still, even though everything is so overvalued, an average stock in the S&P 500 is still a better investment than bonds. But if we see that equation change where, maybe bonds creep over 2%, that sentiment might change. And well, for sure it'll change, at least to some degree, and people will start transferring some of their stock positions into bonds. Now the question is, how dramatic of a change is that going to make? We don't know. That could be the catalyst that's needed for a market correction, which is one of those conflicting things that in the long run, you'd rather a market correction right now, buy some discounted stocks, have a little heyday, good to go. In the short run, you don't want to see your portfolio cut off. Me personally, I would love to see a 30% market correction right now and just have a buying spree. But with bonds, the increasing price will 100% have an effect on stocks, especially if we see it go over that 2% mark. 2.2%, especially if it gets around 2.5%, that's when we'll start seeing some real dramatic changes with institutions getting more bond heavy. I think it's going to take the price to go pretty high for your average retail investor to consider bonds. And I'm not sure that's going to happen because the Treasury has said that they're going to keep yields low for the foreseeable future. So I'm not sure how much higher we're actually going to see this go up. All I know is I'm glad I started my mortgage refinance process like a month and a half ago when rates were still like pretty much bottomed out. Let me drink some coffee after that. Oh, now Palantir's positive. That means I'm up about 2% or 1.5%. I wish it was still negative now. I should have bought more. My only regret in life is not buying enough stocks. Well, congrats to everyone who bought in their Palantir this morning when I did. We are doing okay. I'm up $70. Guess who's back? All right. Did Trey or anyone fill you on the idea of the quadruple stream with you, Trey, Andrew, and Bruce? I want to see this. Oh, thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. No, but we've talked about it. Obviously, I'm open to it. You should go live with Andrew Mo Money right now. You're both live. It's always kind of hard if you're both streaming at the exact same time because you want to talk to your audience. Each of you want to talk to your audience. can I elaborate on the Berkshire thing I mentioned earlier? I'm not sure. You're going to have to clarify what exactly I mentioned. Since you like Tyson, check out Sanderson Farms. Yeah, Sanderson Farms is basically Tyson light, except for it's overvalued, and I don't like it nearly as much. So if you want to get into that industry, in my opinion, Sanderson's not where it's at. If you want a much bigger, much more profitable Sanderson, Tyson Foods. Sorry to be blunt about it. But they're just not as good. Their operating margin is like half of Tyson's, and they're smaller. I said I was invested in Berkshire, so Berkshire Hathaway, and commented is basically an index fund at this point. And then, oh, okay. So yeah, Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's company, Charlie Munger's company, which also, if you want to read a good book, Charlie Munger has a book called The Poor Charlie's Almanac. That book is absolutely amazing. It's like the textbook sized. It is 100% worth. I'm just seeing if I have it linked. I don't think I do. Oh yeah, I do. It's 100% worth reading. It's pretty. So it's pretty expensive. It's like $50 for this book, but I think all the proceeds go to charity, so that's why it's expensive. Even if you buy it used, it's like $50. But it covers a lot of Charlie Munger's speeches over time, and Charlie Munger is an absolute genius in like multiple subjects, and the book is all about applying like ideas from multiple subjects into whatever discipline your discipline is. And obviously he's like a master investor as well, but that book is absolutely amazing. If you want a link to it in the description, I have a little link that's like all my camera and recording equipment. If you click on that, there's actually a tab that's like my favorite books, and you can check that out. But with Berkshire Hathaway, it's called Poor Charlie's Almanac. With Berkshire Hathaway, it's kind of like an index fund just because they own so much stuff. It's basically like a slice of the U.S. So let's see if this gives us what we're looking for. Okay, so this is some of their companies. I don't think it's all. This might just be their wholly owned company. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, Dairy Queen might not be. Let me just double check. Is it wholly owned? Yeah, no. Okay, so this must just be their companies that they have large positions in, because they own like 300 companies. But you can see going through this that there's a lot of things that that are familiar to you. I actually use this for some of my insurance. But some of Berkshire Hathaway's companies, Geico Insurance, the second largest car insurance company in the country, Dairy Queen, Johns Manville, that's that company that like does insulation. If you see a house being built, there's a good chance it has like the Johns Manville logo on it. Heinz, Nebraska Furniture Mart, which unless you live in Nebraska, you probably never have heard of, but it's this massive furniture store in Nebraska that they own completely. It's actually one of their best investments is this furniture store in Nebraska. They just own so many things. See's Candies. So a purchase in Berkshire, because they're so diversified in many industries, and now they're even diversifying outside of the U.S. into, even like South America, European countries, things like that. They are just, it's like an index fund, really. They just pick up real profitable companies in various industries and simple industries, and they hold on to them forever. Now, their price might be a little bit on the high side right now because they've had a pretty big run up in the last year. I mean, nothing compared to like meme stocks, but wow, they're actually up 2% today. That's pretty rare to see an increase like that. So I bought in, I think, $185 not that long ago, 2 years ago or something like that. And I'll add to this position every once in a while if the price seems right. But let's do 5-year so we can see steady run up. You know, this is exactly what you want to see in a stock, just a steady run up. Oh, so I guess I bought at the right time. I bought, you know, right around here. So they've had a really good year. On the Geico end, you know, they got hit kind of. Let me see if I can. I'm not sure if their their annual report is out. I need to read through that. See what it's not that bad given that, you know, there's a pandemic. It was just pretty much, 2020 is not on here yet. That's why. That is why. So they got hit kind of hard, it looks like, in Q2, which isn't a surprise to me. They don't have their Q4 on here yet. But Geico, which is one of their wholly owned subsidiaries, had a very good year because, you know, they're insuring all these cars and people just are driving less. And if an insurance company doesn't have to pay out all these claims, I think there was 32% fewer accidents this year compared to the year before. That is so much money that just goes into their float. And another thing about insurance companies, Warren Buffett loves insurance companies, is they have what's called a float. And basically this is just cash that they have sitting there from their insurance premiums that is used to pay off claims. The nice thing about this is they can invest their float into various investments, earn money on those investments while it's sitting there as part of the business. So it's like you have this double earning effect with insurance companies. Absolutely. It's nuts. Okay, so Palantir's in the negatives again. How does Berkshire Class A and Class B work? So Class B is pegged at a fraction of Class A. The only difference really is the Class B shares you have slightly less voting rights. But I want to say it's like 30x or something like that. Yeah, because it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how high the price is for Class A shares. I would love to buy a Class A share just to own one because they don't pay dividends. They only reinvest the money back into the company. Their share price is literally $384,000 per share because they've never done a stock split and they don't do dividends. So the share price, you know, just goes up and up. So we can see in 1990, it doesn't go back any further. In 1990, their share price was $7,000, and now it's $384,000 per share. Yeah, we don't need Lambos. I drive a cheap car. I'm totally fine with that. I spent more on Palantir stock in the last hour than I spent on my car. Just to put that into perspective. I probably spent more, or no, I spent less on my car than I made yesterday. How probable is it that GameStop ends up on the Russell 1000 index? That's a good question. Because they kind of have to be accepted in, right? If we remember, Tesla kind of had a little bit of struggle getting into the S&P 500. So if they see that this company is flying high, dropping low, flying high, dropping low, they might not let them in. Let's see what the criteria. So how is someone accepted into the Russell? Let's see. Not finding a good answer. How does a company join the Russell 1000? Yeah, I'm not really seeing. I'm sure there's some kind of board that, it's of course partial, dependent on market cap, but I'm sure it's like the market cap has to be within this range for this period of time and this level of stability or something like that. Yeah. This is their average return for the Russell 1000. 1995, that's a good year. Holy smokes, 34% return. Formerly Stone Stonks here, bullish barbarians. Hey Max, hope all is well. Love popping in to check out you, Trey, and Uncle Bruce every morning. Hashtag tendies. Thank you, bullish barbarians. 1995 was the year I was born. So we know I'm going to be profitable. What would I say is the stock I'm most bullish on? That's a good question. So it really depends on your tolerance to risk. For a good value play, I'm sure people who are regular listeners to me, Tyson Foods, I think, is a good value play. I mean, also Berkshire Hathaway. It might be a little bit expensive right now, but if you're looking just to hold, buy something basically to throw in your retirement account, yeah. Also, just an S&P 500 index. If you have a real low risk tolerance, just put it in that, and chances are you'll have pretty darn good returns. I think 8% average returns over the lifetime of the S&P 500. So you really can't complain there. If you have a higher tolerance for risk, the one that I liked as of yesterday, Palantir Technologies. I think this is a good long-term hold, 5 to 7 year hold. Potentially flour companies, if you can find a good one, maybe check out Green Thumb or High Tide for U.S. companies. I still need to do a real deep dive on those. But that's pretty much it for now, what I'm seeing. Once we see correction, we'll see some more deals. Do I believe that CTRM is going to squeeze like the reports say? It's having a pretty good day. Up 3% today. Been up to, we're down 50% from that peak. Let's see if I can find the news on the CTRM. So they just announced a delivery of the Magic Venus. Announced on March 2nd that it took delivery of the MV Magic Venus, the 2010 Japanese-built Kamsarmax dry bulk vessel. Okay, so this is one they already had an agreement to purchase. Now they have 12 vessels. Not seeing anything about a squeeze here. I personally still think that CTRM is overvalued. Maybe in the real long term, they'll make up for its current stock price. Just in my opinion. I know that some people don't like to hear that. I'm not seeing this news of the squeezability. Let's see, CTRM, short interest. 34%, so that's fairly high. I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible to squeeze. They have market value. Okay, so they have 73 million shares. That's more shares than GameStop, but far fewer than AMC. So I wouldn't say it's impossible. You know, if the short volume ratio was 60%, then we'd probably be in business for a squeeze. Stock Jesus, let's go. Okay, we've been going for 2 hours. I think I'm actually going to have to call it for today. Thank you for everyone. Is there a stock that invests in those NTFs you did? I'm actually not sure. That'd be worth looking into. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.